Way back when I first started in planning, I used a Franklin planner. There was something about it that appealed to me, and I'm talking about back in the 80s. I rediscovered it recently, and I wanted to bring it into my digital world. So that's what I want to show you today, how I have set up a Franklin planner page in my OneNote notebook for me to use on a daily basis. If that sounds interesting, stay with me and I'll show you how I do it. Well, hi everyone. I'm Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and living a more simplified life. I am a retired teacher who has over 35 years of experience of teaching people everything from preschool all the way up through high school, adults, seniors, you name it, I've taught them. And today I want to share with you one of the original planning pages that I used way back in the 80s when I was a teacher. It was a Franklin planner. And I just thought that the whole concept of the Franklin planner was really great. And then as I learned more about GTD, I could see how those Franklin planner and GTD methods kind of, merged together. And, it's a really great planner. And I decided I wanted to take that Franklin planner layout and I wanted to use it as a daily page in my OneNote planner. And so I set it up in October and I've been trying it out and it has been working great. So I wanted to share with you how I created that, okay? So let's jump into the computer and take a look at what we have. All right, here on my screen, you see my mock-up, my template for my Franklin Planner daily page, all right? Now, if you are not familiar with what a Franklin Planner daily page looks like in the analog world, this is what it looks like. Let me zoom in here so you can see. And when I do that, you can see that one of the things that Franklin Planner does is they always put the current month calendar there so that you have that for reference. They have the month previous and the month following the month. So this is for the month of January. So they have December and February listed here for you. And then if you look really closely, there is a little check mark system here for you to do for your to-do list that's right here. So we have things for completed, whether it was deferred or moved forward, whether you delegated it to somebody, all of those kinds of things, okay? And one of the things that the Franklin Planner was really, really known for was to list out your tasks and to prioritize them. A means I absolutely have to get it done today. B means I really should get it done today. And C means if I have time and I can get it done, that would be great, okay? And then you number those items. So A1 might be your most important thing that you do for the day. And actually, after all of the Franklin planning that I have done and seen done, A1 is usually planning your day so that you have an idea of what you need to do, okay? All right, so you can see that that's listed here. Then they have a space for a bunch of prioritized daily tasks that you can put in here. And then down at the bottom, they have a daily tracker. If you wanted to use that for expenses or habits or how much mileage you drove or, whatever that happens to be, there's a space down there for you to do that, okay? The second column over here is a timed schedule. And you can see that the Franklin Planner, again, was created many, many years ago, but it goes from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And during these busy morning times and most of the business hour times, there are actually 4 lines for each of the blocks of time. And that's so that you can do 15-minute increments, okay? They also have a time slot up here before your 8 o'clock time. So if you want to do drive time or workout or, put your dinner, what you're prepping for dinner up there, whatever you would like to do. And then after the business hours, the standard, 9 to 5 business hours, it goes down again to just 2 lines. So the half an hour there, and then an evening space down there at the bottom. Okay. So that's the left-hand side of your page. And, that was always kind of the most important page. Then they have on the right-hand side over here, they have your daily notes. So again, there's a little quote up here, the day again of the month. So the numbered day, 14, and then what day of the week it is, and then the month. So in this case, it's January 2025. And there is a place here for your daily notes, right? And when we get to the daily notes on the one that I created, I will show you kind of how to use that daily notes section. Okay. But for now, this is the paper concept that I was looking at, and I'm going to take this paper and turn it into digital. Now, if I wanted to, I could simply set this as a graphic. I could set the picture to the background here. And then I could come in here and I could start a text box and I could start typing on here, and I could leave things on this page. They would kind of float, over the top of that picture. Okay. And again, if I want this to fit better, I could change my font size. Let's see, let's go down to 8 point and see how that looks. Okay. And this is what a lot of the planners that you get, that you download as a PDF, that's what a lot of them do. So you have this screen that looks like this, and you could write on top of them. Well, those of you who have followed me before, I like very, very functional planners. So what I wanted to do is not use this as a picture, but I wanted to actually recreate it. Okay. And the way that I did that is up here. Let's see. Get it on my screen properly for you. You can see here that I very much have recreated what that Franklin Planner page looks like. And I want to walk you through each section and show you how I did it. Lots of tables because, number one, tables make them very functional. They keep things from moving around, and they're neat and organized and able to add lines and all that kind of thing. Okay. So way over here on the very far left-hand side, you can see I recreated this page almost exactly. In fact, I'm going to put that little picture right up here in the corner so that you can see it as I'm working, and you'll be able to see, oh yeah, that's exactly what she's looking at. Okay. So I put the big number of the day. So this happened to be October the 1st. And it was a Tuesday, and October 2024, because that's the year that I'm currently working in. Then you see I have this little checkbox, this little legend here that I'm going to be using for my tasks that go down here. So I have a check mark for completed. I have an arrow for forwarded, or migrated is more the word that they use today. You're moving it forward in your calendar because you didn't get around to doing it today. An X for deleted, a circle with an arrow on the top. That means you delegated it to someone or you're working with someone on it. And then a dot for in progress means I've started the task, but I may not have finished it yet. Okay. These symbols here will go down in this space down below. Okay. Then there's a section in this column for the priorities. So ABC is what it's written here. It seems to me at one point they had ABC/123, but I may be thinking of something else. Again, I'm just trying to recreate what the Franklin Planner looks like. Okay. So I have a place here for those particular prioritizations, and then a space here where I can actually write down items that I want to do on a daily basis. Okay. You can put routine things in here. So like on on my pages that I started using for October, planning for the day is listed there, and that's always my A1 plan. Walking, because I'm making exercise a priority, that's always my A2 plan. And then anything else that I might need to do, whether it's grocery shopping, filming, responding to emails, working on a report, doing laundry, whatever it happens to be, I'm going to put it down here on the list. Okay. And then I can prioritize it. All right. I then added in this section here, in this container, you see I have actually 3 tables in this container. So I just have text here at the top. This whole part right here is 1 table, 2 column, 5 lines. And then this next part down here is another table, 3 columns, okay? And then down here at the bottom, I have just 1 big column table that is a daily tracker for expenses, email, or other information, okay? Again, if you compare it to the Franklin Planner above us, it looks exactly the same. It may not be on green paper, but I could do that if I wanted to. All right. Now, if you go over here and you look in the second column, remember I said they have that, current month and then the month prior and the month post, okay? These are calendars that I got from Calendarpedia. They were actually taken into Word and modified. So I changed the color from being red to being green. I was using them for my holiday planner as well, but you can modify those colors in Word however you would like them, okay? So then I just brought them in here as a graphic, so I can make them bigger or smaller. I decided to make the month of the current month, really large, just like the Franklin Planner, and then I made these 2 smaller here at the bottom, okay? You see here I have a 2-column table for my appointment schedule, and I, again, did the hours 8 to 8, and I added just 2 things down there for the evening. Now, I know the Franklin Planner page has, 4 lines for each area, but because this is a functional table, I could come in here and do 8 o'clock and then add, meeting, and I could then hit enter and do 8:15, start, 30, discussion, and 45, closing. Okay, so I could add those 4 lines in there if I wanted to, simply by hitting enter, and it all stays within that 8 o'clock area. Okay, all right, so that's fine for me. All right, and then if you move to the next container that I have over here, I again put the day. Again, I'm going off of exactly what the Franklin Planner looks like up there. We're now working on the right-hand side page, and it is the day of the month, the number day of the month, the day of the week. So here's Tuesday, and then October 2024. And I have a little thing here that says daily notes and week 40 or week 42 or, whatever the week happens to be. So you're using week numbers just like the Franklin Planner. And then there's a section here for you to be able to put, that this is note number 1 and this is John called regarding the meeting on the 12th, and I am supposed to bring ideas for fundraisers, and I am supposed to notify the rest of the council regarding the schedule. Okay, so there's a place for me to take notes about, things that happened during the day. In this case, I happened to get a phone call from John. Okay, all right. So that is the way that the Franklin Planner page is set up. Basically, the concept is you can get all of your appointments scheduled here, and then all of the things that you're supposed to do scheduled in this place. And then in between those appointments that you have an opportunity to see, well, I need to work on, this particular thing. Maybe I can do that at 2 o'clock because I don't have a meeting. Or, I need to get this done before this 11 o'clock meeting. So that means I need to do it at 10. So you can kind of schedule your day that way by seeing all the tasks that you need to do and all the appointments that you have all in one place. Okay. All right. And then the daily notes over here, that comes into play in the fact if you are taking notes on something that is being scheduled or talked about at a different time. Okay, so in the Franklin Planner system, when I would go at the end of the day, I would come back and I would look at this note and I would say, all right, so there's a meeting on the 12th. And then I would go to my schedule, my calendar for the 12th. So I would click over here on the 12th and I would say that there's a meeting there, and I would refer to the notes that are on 10/1/24, note number 1. Okay. And so then if I'm looking at that meeting and I go, now what am I supposed to do for that meeting? Rather than rewrite all the information all the time, I use this reference code 10/1/24/1 to let me know that I need to come back to October the 1st and take a look at note number 1. Okay. You also in the digital world could link to that. You could say, 10/1-1, meaning that note, and have a link that would come right back to this page. Okay. All right. Now, the next thing that you see on this page is the weekly compass. And let me show you what the Franklin Planner weekly compass looks like, and then you'll understand a little bit more about why I put it in here. Okay. All right. So the Franklin Planner weekly compass is something that is meant to be moved from week to week, or it's kind of a half-page insert that you would put between your, the day's appointments and your notes page, okay? And this that you see over here on the back is the back of the compass page. It just says notes at the top. And then your weekly compass here on the front, it says, what is the most important thing that I can do in this role this week? And you have a space for the date there, okay? And then it talks about rolls and big rocks. Well, I don't know if you remember the story about, the glass jar and the guy had all of these piles of things that he needed to do. And some of them were, big rocks that he needed to put in that jar. Those were the important things that he needed to do during the day. Then there were some medium-sized rocks that should be done that day. So those would be your B priorities. And then there were C priorities, which were like little pebbles or grains of sand. Okay. And so, the visual is that you have this big tall vase, and really to get everything to fit, if you put all of those little rocks, all of that sand, all that gravel in the bottom, and then you fill it up with all the medium rocks, your big rocks are not going to fit in there. They're going to fall, they're going to come out the top. They're not going to fit. So the concept is that you think about those big rocks first, those most important things, those A priority things, and they get put in your glass jar first, okay? Then those medium-sized rocks can kind of fill in around it, and then the small, pebbles fill in the rest to fill out the whole day. Okay. So that's really what this big rocks concept is. Okay. So the first part up here says sharpen the saw, and you see there's a saw there. Again, the Franklin people tell the story about the saw cutter, or the lumberjack who took the time during the day while he was working on this sawing competition. He took the time to sit down and to rest and to sharpen his saw, to clean the saw, to sharpen it, to make it better, okay? And then in that same story, the other lumberjack who was working was young and strong and just powering through, but never took the time to rest, never took the time to sharpen his saw. And what happened at the end of the competition is the lumberjack who took his time and sharpened his saw was able to work more efficiently and get more done, cut down more trees, cut up more lumber, because he had the proper tools and they were sharp and they were ready to go. Okay, so the Franklin Planner people talk about sharpening your saw. And this first little section up here is for you, the lumberjack, for you to think about for yourself. So what are the physical things that you need to do to keep yourself well rested? Is it, getting enough sleep? Is it getting the proper exercise? Is it eating a good breakfast? Is it taking your vitamins? Is it talking to someone? All of those kinds of things. What is the physical things that you need to do for yourself. Next is social and emotional, okay? And again, making that connection, being out in the community, being social with people, having that emotional support from friends or loved ones, okay? Then we have mental. Now that may be learning to meditate or to breathe properly or to talk to a friend or, a church member or something like that, or to even seek counseling if that's something that you need to do. Okay. And then spiritual. Okay. Might be getting out in nature, something to nourish your soul. Okay. So that's what you're looking at up here. Ideas of things that you can do to take care of yourself. Okay. Then Franklin Covey talks about roles. And again, if you've heard me talk about GTD, you've heard me talk about areas of focus or, personal responsibilities, things that you have made a commitment to other people to do. So myself, I have the role of a wife. I have the role of a mother. I have the role of a member of our church council. I have a role of being a friend. Okay. I have a role of being a business owner here for Crystal Clear Life. So I have all of these different hats that I wear. And that's what they're talking about here. What is the role that you are focusing on for this particular week? And what are the big rocks that you need to get done for that particular role? Okay. So a very easy example is my role as a business owner for Crystal Clear Life is that I need to create content for every week. If I don't create and publish content, then I'm not doing my job, for Crystal Clear Life. Okay. So that's one of my big rocks for that. A role of mother might be that I know that my daughter is having a stressful week coming up because she's got events going on or she's having, friends issues or something like that. And my role as mother might be to make sure that I spend time every day talking with her or figuring out a plan how I can help her get ready for this event or whatever that happens to be. Okay. So in all of the roles that you do, think about what are the big things that will move things forward for this particular week. Okay. And you can see here they give you room for 6, 7 of those roles for you to put on here. Okay. And then they have their information down here at the bottom, the Franklin Covey Company. Okay. Now you can see these are perforated, and what the idea was is that you would take one of these pages and you would fill out your roles and your responsibilities or your big rocks, and how you were going to take care of yourself. And then you could also put any notes on the back, like, if you wanted to start a yoga class and you wanted to have a list of things to take to that yoga class, you could put that on your notes, and then you take that and you put it in your planner. And so it's always right there in the front of your mind so that you can see it all the time. Okay. So again, what I did is I recreated this weekly compass on the page that I'm creating here in OneNote. So let me show you that. Okay, so I'll put the picture up above so that you can see it. So here's my weekly compass section, and what's the most important thing I can do in this role, and a space for the date. And then I have my role. This is my personal stuff for sharpening my saw for physical, social, emotional, mental, and spiritual, just like the paper up above. And then here's my role and my big rock. What can I do to make that thing better this week? And I've given myself, 7 spaces there. And then on the back of the Franklin Covey notes page, there's a little section that says plan weekly, review your roles, choose your big rocks, and schedule them into your week. Okay. And then when you plan daily, check today's appointments, make a realistic list of things that you want to get done, and prioritize those. ABC, 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. So you can see by just this little discussion that I've done with you that I was able to recreate the Franklin Covey page right here. Okay. Now, this was the first attempt at it, and I started using it, and I ended up moving some things around. So let's jump back to earlier in October, and I'll show you some pages that I actually used. All right, so here, the very first one that I used, you can see that I actually added a lot of things into my weekly compass here, and I was getting squished with this weekly plan down here and this plan daily down here. So I decided to break that little section out and to put it in its own container over here on the side. But I know that this is part of this weekly compass, okay? All right, so again, I was able to fill in some things that I could do for myself for physical, social and emotional, mental and spiritual things. And then I picked my big rocks, okay? And for my family, one thing that I needed to do was to get the carpet for Samantha that she needed for her project. So that was my job for that week. And then as tech queen, I was working on a video for a family reunion. Okay. Then for Crystal Clear Live, I was prepping and posting videos to get ahead for travel. Because I was going on travel for 2 weeks and I wanted to make sure that all of my videos were ready. And then the big role of spouse, I was planning our Blue Ridge trip with my husband, and my responsibility was to look for things to eat, activities to do, and places to shop. Okay. My husband's responsibility was the map and finding the hotels. So we like to delegate our work that way. Okay. So that's what I put down for my weekly compass for this particular week. Okay. And then what I did is I just copied that whole section and I took it to the next day. Okay. And you can see here on the next day, I started checking off little things that I had done. All right. And by the time you get to the end of the week, you can see that I have lots of checks on there. I was able to get the carpet. And then another item came up that she needed was a 10-foot pole. I was able to get that 10-foot pole. I was able to finish the video. I was able to get my 3 videos done ahead of travel. And I was able to do the planning that I was supposed to do. Okay. So this kind of helps me keep track of those big rocks, those important things. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this priority list over here. And you can see that my number one, A planning priority every day, A1 is to do the planning for the day. Okay, I usually do it the night before instead of in the morning, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. And walking, we were doing some training with my husband. This was day 13 of our training, and walking was important, so I wanted to get that done. The video was finished for the family reunion, and I wanted to send that link out through the email. That was number 3. Okay. Then you see I have other things here that I was working on. That little circle there means that it was delegated. I was doing that with my husband, and then I put a check there meaning that it was finished. Okay. And I wanted to water my indoor plants, check the weather, close the greenhouse as needed, put chemicals in the pool, do laundry, and then look at the Skyline Drive pass. Okay. Now, did I end up prioritizing these? No, I didn't. Sometimes I just don't do everything I'm supposed to do, but they were on my list to be finished. Okay. And this was a Sunday, so I had church in the morning, and then I started listing out the things that I wanted to do. And I'm somebody that once I have my appointments in there, I like to go back and add how I spent my time during that day. Okay, so let's jump down to another week and see if we can find another page and how that looks. Okay, well here I was adding more and more decoration. You can see here on this page, I did my sharpening my saw and I did my big rocks. And those things have changed from the week that I showed you before. And on this list, I actually did prioritize things. So filming the Blue Ridge travel video, editing that, doing the thumbnail, those were things that I had to get done. Clean and store the hummingbird feeders. That was if I have time, and I did get it done. You see everything was checked. I did not get a chance to walk that day because I had a meeting in the morning at IHOP, which with my church people, and that lasted about 3 hours. And then I had my crystal clear work that I was doing for about 3 hours in the afternoon. Okay. All right. And then here under notes, there is a drawstring bag that I found that I thought would be cute. So I added that in here. All right. Let's look at some more pages from this week. All right, so here's the next day. Again, you see I have items, but I don't have them necessarily prioritized, but I did go ahead and fill in the day as I was going through and getting things done, okay? All right, now here on this day, you see I have that we were taking a day trip, so I have that whole day blocked out. Not a lot was going on, but we went to see a play about Eisenhower, and in the notes here I wrote some of the quotes from the play that I thought were wonderful. Moderation ought to govern human affairs. I thought that was a good idea. The only purpose of war must be peace. That was something that Eisenhower said. Choose the harder right, not the easier wrong. Again, good advice. And this one reminded me of what I used to always teach my Girl Scouts. Leave something better than when you got there. Okay? All right. And let's move on. So, I would love to know what you think about this. Have you ever used the Franklin Planner system? If so, leave me a comment and tell me if you're still using it, because they are still producing. They already have their calendars out for 2025. I think they're a great company. They do not have anything in digital form, or I would have purchased that to try. So I just decided that I would try something on my own and see if it works for me, since I like the system so much, okay? Also, leave me a comment if you've made it this far in the video. Go ahead and leave me a bat emoji if you can, or just write the word bat, or something like that, so that I know that you've made it to the end of this video. And let me know if there are other planners out there that you would like me to try to recreate that page in digital format, so that we could have a very functional use for that particular page. That's all for me today. Again, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And until next time, here's hoping that you can live a more organized and simplified life through better planning. I use OneNote, and today I've added the Franklin Planner. Until next time, okay, bye.